been playing for Oulart-the-Ballagh since I was 8 years of age, so what's that now? Too long to remember. 23 years.
I've been playing with Oulart-the-Ballagh for about 25 years, since about 7 or 8 years of age.
Yeah, I've been playing for Oulart-the-Ballagh for about 22 or 3 odd years, I suppose, since I was 7 or 8.
Yeah, I've been playing with the club for 22 or 3 years, I suppose at this stage, since I was 6 or 7 years of age.
I've been playing senior hurling for Oulart-the-Ballagh for 13 years, since the year 2000.
I've been playing with Oulart-the-Ballagh senior hurling team since 1997. So
I made my debut with Oulart-the-Ballagh in 2002.
I made my senior debut in 2001, I think it was, and I think it was against Feder. There was a famous match down in Euros.
I vaguely remember the 1989 county senior hurling final. Barely remember being in the stand. So at 7 years of age, and unfortunately Oulart lost the Buffers only after a replay.
it would have been the 1989 county final. It's probably remembered for the big round end of it, and the match got abandoned. So that's probably my earliest memory of the Oulart senior hurling team.
Would have been the early 90s, matches in Belfast, that type of thing, but the one that I can really remember, I suppose, is the first senior county title for the club in 1994. That's why really I can remember that like it was yesterday.
It's not really a good one, I'd say, but it's the 1989 county final. I remember being at the game. I was actually on the pitch at the time, and I remember being actually physically afraid on the pitch, going home crying after the big box up, but we got beaten in the replay, and that's my earliest memory.
Biggest messer in the Oulart-the-Ballagh dressing room. It's a toss-up. Two lads come to mind. Michael Jacob and Ben O'Connor, definitely. They're always at each other, slagging each other every night you train, but good fun to listen to.
Biggest messer in the Oulart dressing room. And I'm not going to say myself, but I will be up there. But there will be a good few lads. Keith would be one involved. Ben, Barry, Keogh. Most of the lads would be good messers. A few serious lads alright, but them 3 lads would probably be the biggest messers along with myself.
He's also the oldest member of the Oulart-the-Ballagh hurling team, is Michael Jacob. He doesn't carry on like it most of the time. He carries on like the youngest of the members of the Oulart-the-Ballagh senior hurling, but it has to go down to Michael.
Sure, he's my brother, but Michael Jacob, I'd say, is the biggest messer in the whole place. He's probably carries on like he's about 10 years of age most of the time, but there's usually good banter between most of the lads, and there's good old crack, and sure, that's what keeps us so young, I suppose.
Has to be the handstand. Never comes in for any slagging. I think everybody's getting half afraid to look at him slagging.
Would be our captain Darren Nolan. I think he's probably the most serious. He's good crack, but he's probably still the most serious.
It has to go on to the captain. Has to be Darren Nolan. He can have the crack. He can take it with a joke at times, alright, but he is genuinely serious.
Darren Nolan, I'd say, for definite. He's serious about his hurling, and he's serious about his training, and you don't want to mess with Darren at training, because he's probably liable to take the head off you if you do.
No, not particularly. I always like to make sure that my bag is fully packed and that everything ready to go, but not in particular. Don't really buy into any of that type of thing.
The only main thing I do with the morning match is go up the field for a bit of a poke around and a jog, and that's my only thing really to do for the day of a match.
Yeah, I have a routine for most days, and I try to stick to it, and I suppose it's me to know, and for everyone else to find out. It's my routine, and it's going to stay that way. It's a private thing.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's a particular superstition, but it's a routine that I go through more than anything. And sure, again, it'd be something that I've done for a long time, and I'd be pretty sure of it. But I'm not going to tell anybody here on the camera what it is, in case it's wrong.
wouldn't say fry up, but wouldn't be the best thing to beat before a game. But it depends. Porridge, like a bowl of porridge, and I like a pork steaks as well. Pork steaks and toast, depends how you remember when I get up, but it's usually either one of those two. Plenty of energy and fill me up for a couple of hours of that.
My favourite breakfast in the morning of the match would be probably toast and a cereal. Mainly that's all I'd have for breakfast.
I normally eat Weetabix, and the odd time I try to spice it up with some porridge and a banana or something like that. The day of a match, it's normally hard to eat, so the breakfast you're just trying to get something into you to get you going for the day, and that's about it. It's something small. It's normally cereal.
Yeah, there's nothing particularly different I eat on the morning of a match than any other day, to be honest. Really, it's keep it as normal as possible, and it's usually just porridge and a little bit of fruit or something like that. That's all.
A couple of favourite venues, I suppose. Inside of County Wexford, it's Wexford Park. We've had many good days there, and a lot of happy memories associated with Wexford Park. So that would be my favourite venue in County Wexford. Outside the county, I always like Darren Nolan Park in Kilkenny. I always thought it was a nice pitch and always a good sand on it. So we've had good and bad days in Nolan Park, but still a very nice pitch to hurl.
I have a couple of favourite venues. Inside Wexford, Wexford Park would be the main venue. It's the county ground, and it's a good big pitch, and it suits our team and it suits our style. So Wexford Park would be inside the county, and then outside the county for me would have to be Croke Park. It's the number one pitch in the country, and it's the place to play. So outside of Wexford, Croke Park is my favourite venue.
Inside Wexford, I suppose Wexford Park is the place to play. It's the most big days are there, and that's where I suppose I like to be. It's a good field. It's a hurling field, and I enjoy playing there. Outside, I suppose Nolan Park. The sod is always good, and it's the home venue for Kilkenny, and it's a hurling field, and it's always nice to play there.
Yeah, I have a few favourite grounds, I suppose. Inside Wexford, I suppose it'd have to be Wexford Park for me. I always like playing in Wexford Park, whether it's in the summertime or in the middle of the winter. It doesn't matter. I like it, and I always think it's a good place for a forward to play. Outside of it, then I suppose Croke Park is probably the obvious answer to give, but it's an absolutely fabulous place to play hurling. But for me, I always like Páirc Uí Chaoimh in Cork. I think it's a real old style stadium, and I can only imagine what it'd be like to play in it when it'd be full. I think it'd be a great stadium to play in, but the dressing rooms and everything down there are real old style. Everybody's in on top of each other, and there's always and any time we ever played in it, I feel with Wexford we've always done pretty well down in Cork and performed well. So I have a bit of a thing for Páirc Uí Chaoimh.
Because luckily enough, there's been a few. We've done well over the last few years, but I suppose for me personally, it has to be this year's county final. It's a fantastic occasion, and there's a great build up to it, and a lot of expectation on the place, and we're trying to make our own little bit of history. So yeah, definitely has to be this year's county final. It was great.
Probably winning the 2004 county final again, Rathnewer. I think it was a special day for a lot of us to win after a number of years without winning the title. Meant a lot to me and meant a lot to the club. So for me, probably the 2004 final would be my favourite moment, along with this year's probably county final, winning the 5 in a row.
Yeah, we've been very lucky to have a lot of good moments. I suppose as a bunch of players in Oulart-the-Ballagh as a senior team. I think this year 2013 topped it all for me. We've had great days. 2004 was brilliant. When I captained the team for 2 years in a row was great as well, but just as an achievement for the club alone and for the bunch of players, I think that the 5 in a row was a serious achievement to do the first time in Wexford, and it's a proud moment.
Yeah, sure. We've had a lot of good moments playing with the Oulart senior team over the last, I suppose, 10 years, and we've had a few bad moments as well, but there'd be 2 or 3 sticking out for me in my mind. The first one, I suppose, would be the 04 county final. I think think to win that was a huge thing for the club. We hadn't won one in 7 years, and there was probably a young new team coming at the time, and probably winning in 04 helped the team that we have now to get the confidence that they knew they could win county finals, you know. Then after that, I suppose, winning in 09 after being beaten in 08, I thought it was a big moment as well, you know, to come back after being beaten in the final in 08 was a big thing, and we got back there and we won it again, and that started our 5 in a row. And then I suppose to top it all off, then at the end of it would have been this year's one against Ferns, you know. We were probably being written off all year long that we were probably an aging team and an old team, but I think to win the 5 in a row in Wexford is a huge thing. It's a very hard championship to win, and no other team has ever done it, and I think it's our own little piece of history that we can take with us to our grave, I suppose.
Paul Roach. I'm still getting ready and leaving the dressing room, but there's one man that's always behind me, and that's Paul Roach. Not because he's still getting ready. He spends about 20 minutes doing his hair. He always has the body cream, and he always has the little mirror. He just loves looking at himself, so he's by mine the most game, and definitely.
Paul Roach. Paul is the most famous man panel by a good bit. Like, he's always in the dressing room afterwards, and he's a bag full of cream and gels, and he's always putting a bit of gel even on his chest hair. He's that vain, and he's always wearing clothes that are kind of not really suiting, but he thinks he looks lovely. But to be honest, Paul is the most vain.
Frank Cullen. Frank brings a bit of D4 classiness to our dressing room, when he thinks he does anyway. His designer label socks, you know, Frank could wear rags in, but the socks will be still designer label. He has the facial hair done to a T. He has to go to the Turks to get that done. So Vanity sums it up with Frank Cullen.
Owen Moore. I'd say Owen Moore is the vainest fella on our panel, I suppose, for a few reasons, but his style, I suppose, is he's come into our dressing room with a few, I suppose, dodgy outfits. Honest thought they look well, but sometimes they're pretty dodgy. I remember a pair of white runners on a few occasions, and they didn't really go with the style. But Owen, in fairness to him, he has the confidence to try and pull it off. He probably has about 50 pairs of runners that goes with different tracksuit bottoms and different jeans and different things. But fair play to him, he's confident enough to try and pull it off.
There's a few. A lot of good lads to train panel. Suppose one of the top men anyway that I would say would be Rory Jacob. Training every night, one of the first men out in the field. Very professional. Looks after himself to the best. In fairness, Michael wasn't too far behind him this year. Two of them in great shape, and always injury free. Two good men to train.
The best trainer on the Oulart-the-Ballagh panel, there been a lot of good trainers, but for me, Paul Roach is probably the best trainer. He's a great man, always early on the field, first man out training, works hard in training, and gives 100% the whole time, and never injured. And a great attitude to train, so we all get great inspiration from the way Paul trains.
Yeah, we're lucky enough that we have a couple of good trainers on the team. We have Rory, who's very good. Darren Nolan, also very good. But I think just for attitude alone, I think Sean Murphy is also very good. But Darren tops the bill. Darren Nolan trains by himself, gets extra training over on the Ballymurran area with Pádraig Murphy on weekends that we have off. You know, he's never stopped training. You know, great attitude towards it, and it's great to see.
Yeah, who's the best to train? I suppose there's an awful lot of good lads to train on our team. You know, there's an awful lot of lads do an awful lot of training outside of what we're doing, I suppose, in the hurling field, and that's probably helping them when it's coming to the training and the games at the end of the year. Darren Nolan would be top class, I would say, at training, and Nicky Kerwin is very good. Frank Cullen, you'd have to say, is top class as regards training. He never misses a night. I'd say a very good trainer as well on top of that is Peter Murphy. I'd say he's probably one of the fittest fellas probably one of the fittest fellas in the country. I'd say there's not too many lads that stay up with him at this stage, and I suppose he's an example for other fellas as well, because he's probably transformed his fitness. One time he wouldn't have been great at the fitness sense, and from the effort he's put in over the years, he'd run most of us into the ground, and I'd probably put him up there. But there's an awful lot of fellas in our group, you know, who would be good. But I'd say Peter.